I believe one of your first assignments is for writers to imagine viewing their story in a movie theater.
Oh, yeah. Just go. Everybody who wants to be a screenwriter has seen many, 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 many films. So we're all experts at watching film. So watch yours. Watch yours in your head. And feel it all the way along the way. And you'll be amazed. What's great about that is you could write out all the beat cards for the entire film if you just watch it, reeling in your head.
Okay, and what if though we see the audience enjoying it? Like, let's suppose we're in the back row and we're watching our movie and we're like, yeah, and they're getting these parts and they're laughing at the right spot and they're quiet in the parts that are sad. But in reality, a lot of times people don't see you the way you think that they should be seeing you. How do we reconcile that? Or we're in the dream phase and that all that doesn't matter yet?
You mean, tell me a little more about that.
Well, it sounds great to like, okay, they're going to watch my movie and then I'm going to come up and do the Q&A and everyone's going to give me this round of applause. But in real life, there's going to be like 5 people that are going to be like, yeah, that was stupid. Why'd you do that? So we see it from our perspective, but are we just in the dream building stage at this point?
So in other words, what you're saying is you're looking at your film as an external. What I'm saying is look at your film as the story of the film. Create the film. Like you're watching it and you're saying, oh, we're going to need a bigger boat. Oh, that's great. And then what happens after that? And then the shark comes and then, see, so you're creating it that way. You can then imagine what you want with the Q&A after you've created it.
Okay, so we're tapping into kind of like what you said when you rode up the elevator and you were between one floor and the other and this book was already there. It was like downloaded to you. Mm-hmm. So we're tapping into that download?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I understand. So it's not how is the audience going to perceive me? What are they going to ask me? It's like, how am I going to get lost in this story? Because if I'm lost in it, then maybe others will be too.
Well, it's none of your business about them yet. Let that go. That's a long way off. Do the film first. Because if you don't create the film first, how are you going to have a Q&A in the theater? Let the thing glow in the dark in you.
I like that.
It's just between you and it. It's like nobody else's business at that time. You want to keep that to yourself. And then you can start thinking, I wonder how I want to feel in the theater,
Right. When you said that glow in the dark, that's great. I was picturing E.T.'s finger for a second.
Yeah.
And how emotional, like this creature that when it came to life was for so many youngsters and, watching it for the first time.
Yeah, so then you can get that feeling when you're creating, because your intimate relationship with your story it's got all those feelings. I mean, it makes you cry. It makes you swell up. It makes you, feel all those deep, wonderful feelings. So yes, you're in the business of putting those expressions on the page. How to get it from your heart to the page.
What about writing something commercial or writing something that we know can sell? What are your thoughts on
Well, how do
this?
we know it can sell?
Well, that's a good point. Okay. We've done research.
What's commercial is, you've spent your whole life growing up and being this unique person. Express it. Otherwise, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're making a loaf of bread. The one that's going to make it over the top, rocky, is always the anomaly. It's always that thing that they would never go for, and then they go for it. Because it's a skyrocketed, pure thing. It's like nobody can stop it. It just, because everybody stops themselves beforehand. All those bright lights and all that wonderful, brilliant gleams of light are all stopped down in each person. Don't do that to yourself or the community. Let it come out.
How does a writer know if their idea is a novel, a movie, a play, a song?
So they're each different ways of telling the same, like if you use the same story and then how they tell it. Like in a novel, it's introspective. So you can climb in and out of the thoughts of the character, and you can really have a real internal dialogue going on. But on film, you have to find ways of showing what the character is thinking, but often humans will say and think entirely differently. Like they'll say, "I'm not angry." Well, what do we glean from this? So you have to find different ways of expressing that in a film. And a song it can be a mini movie. It can be a story, beginning, middle, and end. Like in country music, because there's it's like, well, she left me at the truck, and then and now we have the babies. So there's a beginning, middle, and end. But it's a short. It's just one thought, boom, 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 and that can be a song. It doesn't have to be a whole film. This one, recently, they got the Oscar, Billie English, what's her name? And it was the story of Barbie, the doll.
You're talking about
What Am I Made For? It is the name of the song. What am I made for? So that's a wonderful becoming story. What's Barbie made for? What's Billy made for? What's any little girl playing with the doll made for?
Right. What if someone says, though, I want to do all of them? This is going to be a book first, then a movie, then they'll do a song from it. They have this big, you talked about the group that you had, these very, motivated and driven young men that were in this one group. And, this is actually going to be all of it. What would you say? Choose which?
No, you don't have to choose. Do them all, sure. But each one has a different, like for instance, in a play, it usually tends to be one person. If you're discussing a theory of life or something like that, you would do it through one person because, like the proscenium arch is small. It's like there's that. So you want to take this whole ideal and send it through the story of one person. So each one of the characteristics are different for each one of those particular works of art. And yeah, you can do them all with the same story, certainly so, but you need to have different techniques to be able to do each thing.